Welcome back, apocalypse survivors, to the famous file. Today we're taking a trip to the world where zombies, or as they prefer to call them, walkers, ruled, and humanity was hanging on by a thread. That's right, we're diving into The Walking Dead, the show that had us glued to our screens for over a decade. From its debut in 2010 to its emotional finale in 2022, the series became a cultural phenomenon, with unforgettable characters and gripping storylines. But as we said goodbye to the world of walkers, the cast that brought these characters to life continued their own journeys, both in Hollywood and beyond. Some rose to even greater fame, others chose quieter paths, and a few faced personal challenges along the way. Today we're taking a closer look at the cast of The Walking Dead, where they started, the twists and turns of their careers, and what they've been up to since the show ended. Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln. Let's begin with the man who started it all. Andrew Lincoln, the unforgettable Rick Grimes. From the very first episode, Andrew brought depth, intensity, and heart to the role that made him a household name. Before he became everyone's favorite sheriff-turned-survivor, Andrew Lincoln was just a kid from London. Born Andrew James Clutterbuck in 1973, his early years were a world away from the Walker apocalypse. His father was a civil engineer, and his mother was a nurse. Andrew's journey to acting began in high school when a teacher inspired him to pursue drama. He adopted the stage name Lincoln and studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Andrew got his start in the late 90s, landing roles on British TV series like This Life and Teachers. But his big breakout before The Walking Dead? Playing the lovesick Mark in Love. Actually, yes, the guy with the cue cards. You know the scene. In 2010, Andrew took on the role of Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead, a character who evolves from small-town sheriff to a battle-hardened leader. His raw and emotional performance quickly became the heart of the show, earning him widespread acclaim and several nominations, including 2 Saturn Awards for Best Actor on Television, and even a Critics' Choice Television Award nomination in 2013. In 2014, Andrew won the IGN People's Choice Award for Best TV Hero, a testament to how beloved Rick Grimes had become. Over his 9 seasons, Andrew delivered unforgettable performances that captured the complexities of survival, leadership, and loss. But after nearly a decade of battling walkers in the sweltering Georgia heat, Andrew announced his departure from the main series in 2018.
I found him.
The reason? To spend more time with his wife, Gail Anderson, and their 2 children.
Those frickin' zombies.
After leaving The Walking Dead, Andrew took on a quieter lifestyle back in England. But he didn't step away from acting entirely. In 2020, he starred alongside Naomi Watts in Penguin Bloom, a heartfelt drama that showcased his range beyond the zombie apocalypse. In 2024, Andrew reprised his role as Rick Grimes in the spin-off series The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. Fans had been waiting for years to see Rick's story continue, and the show delivered on action, emotion, and some long-awaited answers. Reunited with Danai Gurira's Michonne, the series explores their bond while throwing them into new dangers. Andrew is famously private about his personal life, but here's what we do know. In 2006, he married Gail Anderson, who comes from rock royalty. Her dad is Ian Anderson, the legendary frontman of Jethro Tull. Andrew and Gail met on the set of the British series Teachers. Andrew starred in and even directed episodes of the show, while Gail worked as a production assistant. Andrew described her as having a crazy mullet with spiky hair. She looked like Sonic the Hedgehog. But it was her beautiful green eyes that really left him spellbound. Andrew and Gail tied the knot in 2006 and now have 2 children, Matilda and Arthur. Life at home is pretty low-key. Andrew has been spotted riding his bike around town and cooking meals for his family. In interviews, he's shared how much he loves the simple joys of being a husband and father. Next, we dive into the story of Michonne, the fearless katana-wielding warrior, played by the phenomenal Danai Gurira. Stay tuned, Danai Gurira, Michonne. From a fearless warrior to an award-winning actress, let's talk about the powerhouse that is Danai Gurira, who brought the legendary Michonne to life in The Walking Dead. Known for her katana, her sharp wit, and her unwavering loyalty, Michonne quickly became a fan favorite. But before wielding swords and taking down walkers, Danai's journey to stardom was anything but typical. Danai was born in 1978 in Grinnell, Iowa, but raised in Harare, Zimbabwe. She grew up in southern Africa, where her love for theater began at an early age. As a child, Danai was part of a children's performing arts workshop, and it was there that she first fell in love with the craft. Her English and dramatic arts teacher, who was a South African-British professor, ignited her passion for the dramatic arts, teaching her to appreciate the transformative power of storytelling. Though she wasn't a theater major in college, Danai continued her love for drama while earning a degree in psychology from Macalester College in Minnesota. After college, she studied at the prestigious Tisch School of the Arts in New York City, where she further honed her acting skills. Danai Gurira has always been passionate about creating representation for African people in the arts. Reflecting on her time in the U.S., she expressed that she was often frustrated by the lack of stories about contemporary African experiences. That lack of representation drove her to start writing her own plays, including her critically acclaimed work, Eclipsed, which tells the story of women during the Liberian Civil War. The play received rave reviews and even made it to Broadway in 2016, making Danai the first Black woman to have a play produced there, a true milestone in theater. Her success in theater set the stage for her career in film and television, and in 2012, Danai landed her game-changing role as Michonne in The Walking Dead. Michonne quickly became one of the most beloved characters in the Walking Dead universe. Her portrayal earned her multiple nominations, including Critics' Choice Television Award nominations and a growing fan base that adored her no-nonsense attitude and her fierce devotion to her family. But Danai didn't just stop at The Walking Dead. She went on to become part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where she portrayed Okoye in Black Panther, 2018, a role that would earn her even more praise and elevate her as one of the leading African actresses in Hollywood. Between Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, Danai solidified herself as a powerhouse in both television and film.
No! Your heart is so full of hatred, you are not fit to be a king!
In 2020, Dante decided to leave The Walking Dead after season 10, marking the end of Michonne's journey on the main series. She's also very much into giving back. Outside of acting, Danai is a passionate activist and advocate for African women's rights. She founded the Almasi Arts Alliance, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting African playwrights and theater artists. So, while she's out there slaying as Michonne and Okoye, she's also building spaces for the next generation of storytellers. As 2024 unfolds, Danai Gurira continues to make headlines not only for her acting, but also for her activism and upcoming projects. In addition to reprising her role as Michonne in the Walking Dead spin-off The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, she is set to star in an adaptation of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's critically acclaimed novel, Americana. From her theater roots in Zimbabwe to becoming one of the most powerful women in Hollywood, Danai Gurira's journey is a testament to talent, perseverance, and the power of representation. Now we're diving into the journey of another Walking Dead star, Norman Reedus, aka Daryl Dixon. Norman Reedus, Daryl Dixon. From the very first moment Norman Reedus appeared on screen as the gruff, crossbow-wielding survivor Daryl Dixon, fans knew they were witnessing something special. Daryl was the character you didn't expect to love but ended up rooting for from day one. But before Norman became The Walking Dead's most beloved rebel, his path to fame was, let's just say, not your typical Hollywood story. Born in 1969 in Hollywood, Florida, Norman Reedus is of Italian, English, Scottish, and Irish descent. Norman started off in the arts with a focus on photography and visual art. As an accomplished photographer, Norman has published several books of his own work, and every year you can catch him showing off his art in galleries around the world. He's carved out a name for himself, not just as an actor, but as a true visual artist. In 2022, Norman wrote his very first novel, titled The Ravaged, and it was an instant success. The book made the New York Times and Los Angeles Times bestseller lists. But let's go back to where it all started for Norman in the acting world. His first film role was in 1997's Mimic.
Body parts, cocaine-filled condoms, little baby alligators. Shit, you wouldn't believe this stuff.
A horror thriller directed by Guillermo del Toro. He played a character named Jeremy, and this marked the beginning of a long and varied film career. From there, he appeared in movies like Floating, 6 Ways to Sunday, and Deuces Wild. But his breakout role came in 1999 with The Boondock Saints.
He hasn't figured us out yet, he will.
All we know is what we found out from the neighbors. And the general consensus is
They're angels.
Then, of course, came Daryl Dixon. Over the years, Daryl became one of the show's most beloved characters, with Norman receiving countless awards and nominations for his portrayal. But Norman isn't just known for his roles on screen. He's also branched out into television production and travel. In the show Ride with Norman Reedus, he combines his love for motorcycles with his infectious personality, taking fans on a global adventure to explore motorcycle culture. He also runs his own production company, Big Bald Head Inc., and has a first-look deal with AMC Studios. And speaking of AMC, Norman is returning to the world of The Walking Dead in the exciting new spin-off, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. In this new series, Daryl finds himself navigating the apocalypse in France, and we get to see him take on the role of leader in an entirely new world. Carol Pelletier, of course, is returning as well. And this new chapter in the Walking Dead universe promises to explore fresh dynamics, with Daryl at the center of it all. It's no surprise that fans are beyond excited for this next installment in the franchise. And let's not forget about Norman's upcoming role in the psychological drama, The Housewife. Filming kicks off in June, and with this intense true story thriller, we can't wait to see Reedus tackle a whole new kind of role. Whether it's exploring the world on a motorcycle or diving into gripping dramas, Norman Reedus continues to surprise and captivate us all. Norman's been famously private, but it's clear that family is important to him. He shares a son, Mingus, with former supermodel Helena Christensen. And although they're no longer together, they co-parent Mingus, and Norman is still an incredibly hands-on father. More recently, Norman's been in a relationship with actress Diane Kruger, and the couple has a daughter together. Norman Reedus has lived a lot of lives, and his personal history is as colorful as his career. From a horrendous car accident that left him with a titanium eye socket, to a childhood that wasn't exactly easy, Norman's journey to success was far from smooth. Add to that his teenage years spent on the competitive youth tennis circuit, a side of him you probably never knew existed. And you've got someone who's seen and done a lot before, ever stepping foot on a major TV set. So despite all the obstacles, accidents, and career moments that made him question things, Norman Reedus has proven time and time again that he's a fighter, both in his personal life and his work. Melissa McBride, Carol. Next up is the heart of The Walking Dead, the fierce, brilliant, and endlessly resourceful Carol Pelletier, played by the incredibly talented Melissa McBride. Over the series, Carol showed us what it means to survive and thrive against all odds. But what about Melissa's journey to bringing this unforgettable character to life? Let's dive into her story. Melissa Suzanne McBride was born on May 23, 1965 in Lexington, Kentucky, to parents John Leslie McBride and Suzanne Lillian Sagley. Her mother studied at the historic Pasadena Playhouse, sparking a love for the arts that Melissa herself would later pursue. She grew up with 3 siblings, but tragically, all of them passed away before her, leaving her as the sole survivor of her immediate family. Melissa's acting career kicked off in the early 1990s when she appeared in commercials for brands like Ford and Rooms to Go. She made her television debut in 1993 on Matlock and went on to guest star in shows like In the Heat of the Night, Walker, Texas Ranger, and Dawson's Creek.
Confianza absoluta en los hombres.
You might remember her as Nina, the film buff who briefly charmed Dawson in season 1, or maybe as the character who reappeared in the series finale, playing a completely different role. In 2007, Melissa appeared in Frank Darabont's The Mist.
For sale signs fell over.
We had damage at the school, wouldn't you know? That's what we get for not fixing that roof when we should have.
A role that indirectly led to her casting in The Walking Dead. Initially, her character, Carol Pelletier, was meant to be a minor role, but Melissa's performance quickly changed the writers' plans. In fact, Carol was supposed to be killed off in Season 3's Killer Within. Instead, she became one of the most beloved and enduring characters on the show. Over the years, Melissa has earned numerous accolades for her role, including Saturn Awards for Best Supporting Actress on Television in 2014 and 2015. She was also nominated for a Critics' Choice Television Award and a Fangoria Chainsaw Award. Despite fan campaigns, she was controversially overlooked for an Emmy nomination in 2014, a snub that fans are still salty about. After wrapping up her iconic role as Carol Pelletier in The Walking Dead, Melissa didn't just disappear from the spotlight. She's been hard at work. In 2023, she reprised her role as Carol in the spin-off series The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon, alongside her longtime co-star Norman Reedus. The show follows Daryl as he navigates the post-apocalyptic world of France, and Carol's return has fans absolutely thrilled. Off-screen, Melissa is known for her love of animals and her somewhat private life. She's still very active with her pets, and you can occasionally catch glimpses of her quieter, more personal side. But when it comes to her career, it's clear that she's not slowing down anytime soon. We can't wait to see what's next for this incredible character and the actress behind her. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan. All right, let's shift gears and talk about one of the most unforgettable characters from The Walking Dead, Negan. Played by the one and only Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan brought a level of swagger, chaos, and dark humor to the series that made him one of the most talked about villains of the last decade. But like many great characters, there's more to Negan than just his brutal side. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was born on April 22, 1966 in Seattle, Washington. Before landing his iconic role as Negan, he had already built a solid career in Hollywood, appearing in various TV shows and films. Before taking on the role of Negan, Jeffrey had quite the resume. He appeared in Supernatural, playing the beloved John Winchester, and also starred in Grey's Anatomy as Denny Duquette, a character that made viewers cry a lot. And let's not forget his role in P.S. I Love You, where he played a lovable yet somewhat troubled friend. But it wasn't until 2016 when he was cast as the ruthless Negan that he really became a household name. As the series progressed, we saw more layers to Negan. He wasn't just a villain, but a complex character with his own moral code and a path to redemption. Outside of The Walking Dead, Jeffrey has kept busy with a range of projects. In 2020, he starred in The Walking Dead: World Beyond, playing the role of a morally gray character in the spin-off series. But it wasn't just TV that Jeffrey was diving into. He also starred in films like The Unholy, 2021, and The Post, 2017, where he continued to showcase his versatility as an actor. While Jeffrey Dean Morgan's career is now a string of successes, his journey to stardom wasn't without its share of struggles. Before he became a household name on shows like Grey's Anatomy, Weeds, and Supernatural, there was a point where Jeffrey nearly gave up on acting entirely. He revealed that a decade prior, he had been dropped by his manager in one of the most brutal ways imaginable. She told him, in no uncertain terms, that he was expendable, that he was too old, and ultimately, that he didn't have the talent. Instead of walking away from Hollywood, Jeffrey dug his heels in deeper. He kept working, auditioning, and pushing forward. And eventually, that hard work paid off. His breakthrough came when he landed recurring roles on some of television's most beloved shows. Now, let's take a quick peek into Jeffrey's personal life. He's married to actress Hilarie Burton, whom many of you may remember from One Tree Hill. The two met back in 2009, and despite the paparazzi attention, they've kept their relationship relatively low-key. In case you didn't know, in 2017, a significant controversy arose surrounding Ben Affleck and allegations of inappropriate behavior, which included accusations of groping. Hilarie Burton, Jeffrey's wife, was one of the many women who came forward with allegations against Ben Affleck. She revealed that Affleck had groped her on live television during a 2003 interview. She shared the story on Twitter, recounting how Affleck, while on set, grabbed her breast without her consent. When the story resurfaced, it was Jeffrey Dean Morgan who stepped up and publicly supported his wife in a big way. In an interview, he didn't hold back, speaking out against Ben Affleck's actions and defending Burton with intense words. Jeffrey said, "I'm so proud of my wife for speaking out. It's a really big deal." He called out Affleck, expressing how appalled he was by the alleged behavior, and admitted that if he were in that situation, he would have been furious. Through this incident, Jeffrey demonstrated what it means to be an ally and to protect the ones you love. He didn't shy away from the controversy, and in fact, his public support helped raise awareness about the importance of believing and supporting victims of such behavior. Steven Yeun, Glenn Rhee. Let's shift the spotlight to Steven Yeun, the actor who gave us Glenn Rhee, The Walking Dead's resourceful, quick-witted, and big-hearted hero. Glenn wasn't just a fan favorite, he was the glue that held the group together in their darkest moments. And Steven? Well, his journey from a humble upbringing to Hollywood's elite is nothing short of inspiring. Steven Yeun was born on December 20th, 1983, in Seoul, South Korea. His family moved to North America when he was just a kid, settling first in Regina, Canada, and later in Troy, Michigan. Growing up in a Korean immigrant family, Steven's parents worked tirelessly to build a life, running beauty supply stores to support their kids. And while they dreamed he'd become a doctor or lawyer, Steven had other plans. At Kalamazoo College, Stephen majored in psychology, but it wasn't the classroom that changed his life. It was an improv show. After watching a group perform, Stephen decided to try it for himself, joining the school's troupe, Munkapult. From there, the acting bug bit him hard. He even convinced his parents to let him move to Chicago to study improv and comedy at Second City. He appeared in The Big Bang Theory as Sebastian, a quick cameo, but hey, a foot in the door is a foot in the door. He also starred in the indie film Jerry as Chaz, showcasing his early potential. And let's not forget his commercial work. Stephen's charisma lit up screens and ads for Best Buy, Apple, and even Milky Way. Fast forward to 2010, and Stephen lands the role that would change everything, Glenn Rhee on The Walking Dead. From pizza delivery guy to apocalypse hero, Glenn was the everyman we all rooted for. His courage, loyalty, and heart made him unforgettable. And let's not forget his epic romance with Maggie. It gave us hope in a world overrun by walkers. Stephen Yeun's portrayal of Glenn Rhee in The Walking Dead made him a fan favorite. But as much as we all loved Glenn's kind and courageous spirit, Stephen had his sights set beyond the apocalypse. In an interview with Variety, Stephen opened up about his decision to leave the show, saying, "There wasn't really much of a fight on my end. I couldn't be stuck servicing just a genial-natured guy for the rest of my career." And can we blame him? As much as Glenn was a beloved character, Stephen wanted to branch out and explore roles with depth, complexity, and range. After leaving The Walking Dead, he took on bold, challenging roles that showed his incredible range as an actor. In 2020, he starred in Minari, a deeply personal story about a Korean-American family chasing their version of the American dream. His performance as Jacob Yi was so powerful. It earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, making him the first Asian American actor in history to be recognized in that category. Stephen has been unstoppable ever since. In 2022, he worked with Jordan Peele on Nope, where he delivered a hauntingly complex performance. And in 2023, he co-starred in Netflix's Beef alongside Ali Wong. The dark comedy thriller had everyone talking, and Stephen's layered portrayal of a man on the brink of collapse was nothing short of brilliant. His performance earned him a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Limited Series, making history as the first Korean American to receive this prestigious accolade. While Stephen Yeun has been thriving in his career, he's also faced his share of challenges outside the spotlight. In 2020, Stephen found himself in hot water when he liked a photo posted by filmmaker Joe Lynch, with whom he worked on Mayhem. The picture featured Lynch wearing a shirt that resembled the rising sun flag, a symbol tied to Japan's imperial history, which carries strong negative connotations in Korea. The backlash was swift, especially in Korea, where many saw the gesture as insensitive. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Stephen issued a public apology the next day, admitting he had been careless. However, some Koreans felt the apology didn't go far enough, keeping the controversy alive in certain circles. Off-screen, Stephen keeps things relatively private but grounded. He's been married to photographer Joanna Pak since 2016, and together they have 2 children. He often speaks about the importance of family and staying connected to his roots, especially as he navigates his rising stardom. Stephen's also been a vocal advocate for better representation of Asian stories in Hollywood, using his platform to push for change. Lauren Cohan, Maggie Green. Last but not least, we've got another fan favorite, a character who started off as a bit of a damsel in distress but evolved into a fierce survivor. Maggie Green, played by the talented Lauren Cohan. Maggie's journey from farm girl to a central figure in the fight against the undead is one of the most dynamic character arcs on The Walking Dead. Before Maggie Green became one of the most beloved characters in The Walking Dead, Lauren Cohan's life had already been full of interesting twists and turns. She was born on January 7, 1982 in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, to an American father and an English mother. Lauren has Irish, Norwegian, and Scottish roots as well, though some sources mistakenly list Philadelphia as her birthplace. During her childhood, Lauren moved around quite a bit. She lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey for much of her early years, but spent a year in Georgia before the family moved to England when she was just 13. It was in England that Lauren's career started to take shape. Lauren's passion for acting grew during her time at the University of Winchester, where she earned a BA degree in drama and English literature. She went on to co-found a theater company while at university, and it was here that she began to hone her craft. Afterward, Lauren split her time between London and Los Angeles, juggling a range of film and non-commercial projects. Her big break came in 2010 when she was cast as Maggie Green on The Walking Dead in Season 2. But as much as we loved Maggie's tough, no-nonsense attitude, it wasn't all smooth sailing for actress Lauren Cohan off-screen. In fact, Maggie's departure from The Walking Dead in Season 9 left fans devastated. Lauren had initially signed on for a reduced role in the 9th season, as she pursued other opportunities. Fans were left wondering whether Maggie would ever return. And return she did. In 2022, after a couple of years on a hiatus from the series, it was announced that Lauren would reprise her role in the spin-off series, The Walking Dead, Dead City, alongside Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan. Yes, that's right. Maggie and Negan are back together again. But this time, they've got to work together to survive in the crumbling world. So what has Lauren Cohan been up to since The Walking Dead? Besides Dead City, Lauren has continued to land prominent roles in film and television. In 2020, she starred in The Boy sequel, Brahms, The Boy 2, and also made appearances in shows like Whiskey Cavalier. And there you have it, the story of the cast of The Walking Dead, from their humble beginnings to their rise as post-apocalyptic icons, and everything that's happened since. Whether they were fighting off walkers, battling inner demons, or just trying to survive the chaos, this cast truly made TV history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your fellow TWD fans, and subscribe for more deep dives into the casts of your favorite shows.